This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Ping.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Welcome to Life Mastery Radio with Todd Allen and Jackie Bailey, the show that dives into the science of higher consciousness with inspiring topics such as abundance, intention, health, manifestation, love, and transformation. Join Todd, Jackie, and their guests of leading authors, speakers, coaches, and entrepreneurs weekly at 10 a.m. Pacific. Learn to live a peaceful life with intentional mastery. It's all right here with stories and messages to support your well-being and most evocative dreams. Now, here's your hosts, Todd and Jackie.
Hey, it's another groovy day, and there's a couple of reasons for that. It's Life Mastery Radio Day, of course, my most favorite day. And when I got up this morning, I decided first thing before my feet hit the ground, it was going to be a groovy day. And guess what? Usually 9 times out of 10, the whole day just cruises right along. Something might happen, something might change. But I always think back, I started out groovy and I can change this into a groovy event somehow, some way. And it always works out that way. Try it. You'll like it. I guarantee it. Welcome to Life Mastery Radio, the talk show that brings you great thoughts and ideas for you to use on your very own life mastery journey. And of course, I have my amazing co-host with me today, Jackie Bailey. Hi, Jackie. How are you today, my friend?
Hello, I'm doing well, thank you. I bet you're groovy.
I'm feeling groovy. Da da da. Say hello to the lamppost. My most favorite song. I just love that song. Every time I hear it, I just want to dance. Of course, you're that way with every song.
Well, not every song, but most songs.
How are things at the Speak Feed Lead project? You don't have your sidekicks this week, so that must mean summer camp's over.
Summer camps are over. We had fun. It was hot, but we got through it. In fact, last week it was so hot that I had to rent a little motel meeting room so that we could have the parents come on the last day and hear the students' keynote speeches. Because it was just too. My studio has a little air conditioning unit, but it just could not keep up. So there's a little. We have a hotel just down the street from us, and so we rented a little room. They gave us a great deal, and we had it in nice air conditioning.
So they got their keynotes. How did their keynotes turn out? We're gonna have to have them on the show and deliver those keynotes. I think.
Yeah, it's so fabulous, and it's actually fun to watch the parents' reaction because they've never seen or heard their child talk in such a way. You know, right? I mean, probably because they've never asked the right questions to really understand their child and how they feel about certain things. And so when they get up there, each one of them shared 3 different stories that were based on experiences from their lives and what lessons they learned from those experiences. And then they did a wonderful job relating those experiences back to the audience and how it can be relevant to us. And so that was what they were trained to do. And, you know, I didn't really have to coach them very much. I helped them maybe replace a few words here and there with a different word that might be a little bit better suited for the situation. But other than that, it was completely their message, their stories. And I was blown away. But then again, I see this happening all the time. Right. But to watch the parents get blown away is really fun.
Wow, that is so cool. And I can just imagine being a parent and watching my child deliver a keynote speech about something that's important to them. I mean, that's pretty groovy.
It is really groovy. It's great. Parents, they actually have a whole different attitude toward their kids. It's like, oh, okay, maybe I need to listen to you more because you do have something important to say.
Right. Yeah. Life-changing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's really cool. You can find Jackie Bailey. Just Google her, and her name's down there in the corner, and you can find her programs that she does for kids. It's amazing. These kids transform, and you watch these kids and you think, wow, I'm watching the next president of the United States. This person has a jump on life. I could just imagine if I had those kind of skills, that kind of confidence, that kind of determination early on, instead of just kind of willy-nilly figuring things out, right?
I know.
Pretty cool.
Several of my students now are applying for colleges, or they're applying for special programs. And the fact that now they have a really good idea of what their message is, it just helps that process be so much more successful, because they can relate a little bit about themselves and how they're going to contribute to this new institution or whatever that they're going to be attending. It just makes such a big difference for them.
The word that comes to my mind is unstoppable. Unstoppable. I mean, really, it's check out Jackie, check out more of her programs that she does for youth. She empowers them to be the people that they are inside their heart. Pretty cool. I want to remind our listeners that today's show page is at www.lifemasteryradio.net or .com. Either one will get you there, and you can find any links that we talk about with our guest today will be right there. A couple things that are there too. My book is there. 6 Keys to Life Mastery. It will help get you on a life mastery journey or a path of your own. Jackie's book is there. You can see it back in the corner. Oh, she has a copy. Well. Self-centered leadership. And
my second book, which I am a contributing author to, which is fun. And this week I just turned in my chapter for another contributing author opportunity. So yeah, that'll be coming out in September. Another book.
What do you write about this time? So the other story was Dear John Letter to Grief. No,
to Lack.
Lack.
That's right. Kicking lack out the door. The next book is actually a sort of a handbook for parents. So my chapter is going to be about how to talk to your children so that you can live in their world and not expect them always to come to yours.
Very cool. Well, we're anxious and anticipating and eager to hear and see the final product. So that's really cool. Wow. You're 2 up on me. I got to do something.
Got a lot of catching up to do.
Jackie wrote her book, and I thought, if she could do it, I could do it. So then I wrote my book. So now she's 2 up on me. So I better get busy. While you're on the website, sign up for the newsletter. It goes out every week. It highlights who's been on the show, who's coming on the show, and a little blog post. Not a little, it's a big blog post Jackie does about the show that we just did. So it will entice you to actually go to our YouTube channel and listen to the show. We always have fun. We always have a blast. We have some amazing guests, just like our guest today. And it gives you great insight. And I guarantee you, it will give you some tools. You can take them or leave them, but it will give you some tools to use on your very own life mastery journey, because we are all on a journey. And these tools that Jackie and I bring you just help you find your way. And you might come to a Y in the road, and it might just help you choose which direction to go. So that's the deal. That's why we're here. And that's why Jackie and I show up every Tuesday at 10 a.m. just for you. And we would appreciate it if you told a friend about the show, or told them these two people have some amazing guests. They have a really cool show, and they get into some really cool discussions. So there, I've overused the word cool. So just tell everybody it's a groovy time. Okay, so I think today's guest was booked by Jackie. That means it's her turn, or her deal to
It's my deal.
It's your deal.
And in fact, I am delighted. In the end, I'm going to tell you about how our guest has empowered the voices of children as well. So, but first, we have an official introduction. So this is Susan Erickson. Yeah. Susan has a Bachelor of Science in Business and a master's degree in organizational leadership. Her career in healthcare spans 30 years, including human resources, administrator of a cardiology clinic. She was the director of network operations for primary and specialty clinics, and her most recent role of chief operating officer for a family medicine clinic. Susan has a deep appreciation for efficacy and the ability to produce a desired result consistently, and that stayed with her now as a certified life coach. Susan has created an evidence-based training program that incorporates both the art and the science of coaching, with compassion as a hallmark of healthcare and an attribute that enhances Susan's career and allows her to bring empathy to leadership positions. She can now produce the greatest results for her life coaching clients. And now I'm going to tell you that she's got a summit coming up very soon, in a couple of weeks, the Holistic Institute of Wellness Summit. And Susan has invited my students to speak on her summit. And since March, we have filled 50 speaker slots with our students on different summits. And so I am very, very grateful to Susan for allowing our students to get their voices out there even more. So I am delighted beyond measure to have Susan with us on the show today. So hi, Susan. Welcome from Iowa.
Yeah. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Todd. I am so pleased to be here with you today. I just love your conversation. I love the program and what you do. And thank you so much for that introduction.
Well, you're welcome. I'm very happy to have you here with us today because, life coaching has sort of been this new descriptor word that a lot of people are using. I think the advantages that you have coming from an actual healthcare situation gives you such a tremendous advantage. And maybe that's not even the right word, but it gives you this experiential depth that a lot of life coaches don't have because they're coming at it from just the mental aspect or the emotional aspect, but you're coming at it from knowing the whole person. And so I appreciate that very much. Do you want to fill us in maybe as we start on a little bit of your background and all that you've been doing?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. So I do both mindset abundance coaching as well as leadership coaching. I feel like when we talk about abundance, we often jump straight to the financial piece of that, which absolutely is a piece, right? But we want abundance in all areas of our life, right? We want abundance in our relationships. We want abundance in our spirituality, in our health, in our careers, and we can have all of that. We absolutely can. And we just need to find the tools to do that. And then I also do leadership coaching in conjunction with that, which working in leadership positions and with leaders, it's a really hard job. And I think we often don't have the self-care or get stuck in a spot that we just need a little help to move past that. I also have the Holistic Institute of Wellness, which is a virtual Facebook group and a membership group. And holistic is WHOL. And again, the whole person, the whole body. And when we talk about wellness, again, I think we sort of go to the physical aspect of that, right? The health aspect that we want wellness. But we want that in all areas of our life. Right? We want wellness, absolutely, in our health, but we also want healthy financial. We want healthy relationships. We want healthy spiritual life. So again, those things kind of fit together because we want those in all aspects of our life. And again, we can have that. We just don't need to have the tools for that and how we manage that and what we do with that. So yeah, it's a little what I do.
Susan, I was taught an abundance mindset and by some of the greats, and I studied. I'm trying to think of his name. It will hit me here in a minute, but he's no longer with us. But he was a main driver in the Unity organization with the abundance mindset. And a lot of people think that abundance piece is like that golden ring that you have to be lucky. And so I guess my question is, what can people expect by practicing that abundance mindset, and how do things show up in their lives? Like you said, it's not all about money. It's about it's about mastering your life, I think.
Yeah, you have that so right, Todd. It's about mastering our mindset, right? It is about manifestation. It is about having the right mindset. You can be a very successful person, considered a very successful person. You've made really big goals and strides and achievements and still not feel like you're happy or content or where you want to be, right? And that often comes, I think, because we are not aligned with what we're doing, with what our values are, and we're not living authentically. So when
Well, first, I just want to jump in here. First, it's understanding what those are, right? And
absolutely.
That's what the life coach is. A life coach isn't going to tell you what to do or help you, at least the way I understand it, the way I was trained. Two people taught me how to be a life coach, but it's more just guiding that person to awaken inside.
Absolutely. As a coach, I believe you already have everything you need within you. I just really help you discover that. I always like the analogy of I'm a lighthouse, not a lifeboat, right? I'm not here to save you. I'm here to help guide you to those things that you already have within you. I think what's really kind of unique about the way I coach is I fully believe in that abundance, that manifestation, but also then taking action, right? And so that's where the art and the science of that come. That yes, you need to have the right mindset. You need to have the right aligned with you need to understand what your values are, right? You need to understand what living authentically means for you. And then you need to take action and steps in that direction.
Yeah. Taking action puts you in the flow of the things that are being sent to you or being guided to you. And that action, keeps your head up, your tail out from between your legs, and you're looking for that next opportunity instead of with your head down thinking, oh, when's this thing going to show up? When's this thing going to show up? Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And when that next opportunity comes, sometimes it doesn't always look like what we thought it was going to look like, right? Like what we asked for, so to speak, right? Like we asked for something and maybe it looks a little different. And so you still don't pass it up, right? You take the opportunities that are presented to you. You take that little risk.
I was taught it will be that or something better.
Yeah, that's right. That or something better. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'll tell you, Susan, for me, some of the challenges I've had in, feeling that abundance is that I come from this inability really to tap into my own strengths. Because I doubted myself for so long. Do you still find there's a lot of people like me who, what's inside of them? You know that there's something in there to tap into, but it's challenging for them to do that. Am I the only one, or have you worked with people like that as well?
Oh, absolutely not, Jackie. First of all, let me say we all have that. It's totally understandable. And not to be disrespectful in any way, Todd, but I do hear that more with females than I do with males, right? I think we and we call those limiting beliefs, right? So again, we all have what we need within us, but we also have limiting beliefs. We all come with some limiting beliefs, either things we've heard in our past, things we hear in society, just things that we have in our own head, right? And the really unique piece and the really thing that gives me goosebumps is when people have those aha moments, right? Just a little shift in your thinking of, oh, I never thought I could do that, right?
Synchronicity too. Yeah.
Yeah, synchronicity.
Those miracles. And it's not like once you get it, you always have it. We always go back to those limiting beliefs. It's just, it seems like wouldn't it be nice if we just totally got rid of those? I guess you'd have to practice every day, right? You'd constantly walking around getting rid of those limiting beliefs because they are a part of our, I guess what I'm trying to say, if it were a perfect world, we wouldn't be here.
There you go. But you're so right, Todd. It's a process, right? And we are always going to have some limiting beliefs. The goal is that A, we recognize them. Okay. And then B, that we recognize them quicker and we have tools to shift that, right? So if we have a limiting belief, maybe let's say it's a limiting belief around money or a limiting belief around time or whatever it is. If you have a limiting belief around that, just because you have that aha moment doesn't mean you're never going to, come across that again. It's still going to pop up in your life, but you're going to go, I know what that is now, right? And now I know how to get past it. Now I know what to do about it. So yeah, it's not like they're going to go away. It's a process, and we learn to work with it, and we learn to work with others as they come up. So yeah.
I think it's important to know that our brains are still pliable, even when, you know, you're old as I am. That we still have a chance.
Now, wait a sec. That's a limiting belief, Jackie. You've got to quit doing that.
Yes.
But we can still, but there's no time when we can't do something that is going to better ourselves. Because I think of these limiting beliefs as a lot like bad habits.
Mhm.
And even though it's not easy to break a bad habit, there's ways to do it. We just have to be dedicated to the process and work on and take these little steps toward a different end. And I think changing our limiting beliefs is kind of the same way, right? But you have to have someone that you're accountable to. At least that makes it easier. If you're accountable to someone else and you say, this is what I discovered, I have a limiting belief in, and now help me. And when you were saying, I don't usually just tell people what to do, but there's sometimes in my life when I'm like, just tell me what to do. You know, I don't want to have to think about it and figure it out. Just tell me what I have to do. So, but I do think it's possible, but it's so nice to have someone like you that we can be accountable to and answer to some degree. Otherwise, it's so easy to slip back.
That's the key piece, accountability, right, Susan?
Absolutely. And I love that you say that you go to them to be accountable, because I always have said, and I firmly believe, that you can't hold somebody else accountable, right? I can't hold you accountable for something. I can give you tools to hold yourself accountable. I can be there for you as a support to be accountable, but I can't hold you accountable if it's not something you want to do, right? Or if you're counting on someone else to do it for you. Somebody else can't do it for you. And like you said, Jackie, yeah, there are just times you're like, I'm so confused, I don't know what to do. Just tell me what to do. But that's not really coaching. That's advising. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a different thing, right? It's good to have an advisor in your life. It's good to have a mentor in your life. It's good to have a coach in your life. It's good to have those different people, but to recognize those roles that people play for you, and to understand it's not a coach when you're doing that. It's an advisor or it's a mentor maybe, but they're playing a different role for you. And that's okay. Just recognize that it's different.
Right. Huh. I was going to say something. It kind of left my mind.
You and I both took her
her abundance quiz. Yes, her abundance quiz. Yes.
And it's really quick. You can find it on her website. Susan, that website, I don't have my note. Oh, Jackie has all the notes.
Yes.
Your website.
Susan Erickson coaching.com, right?
Yep. Try to keep everything simple. So
And so there's this little quiz, and Jackie and I got the link for the quiz, and we both took the quiz. And so are we ready to reveal ourselves, Jackie? Are you go first.
Oh, okay.
I'll do it if you do it.
I'll do it. So yeah, Todd's right. It was a quick quiz, just answering some questions. There were a couple of times, they're all multiple choice questions. And there were a couple times I think, can I choose two? But you can only choose one. And I learned that I am a level lyric. It says I am an artful negotiator with an eye for conflict. Not sure what an eye for conflict means. You bring balance to teams and social circles. It says, be careful not to sacrifice your personal well-being or safety for the sake of the project or relationship. Dun, dun, dun. So can you give me any more insight into that, Susan, what that might mean?
Well, first of all, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
How did you feel? Was it accurate? How did you feel did it portray you well, or was it, describing you well?
Yeah, I think the second part of it, where it cautions me to be careful not to sacrifice my personal well-being for other things. That is something I am recently learning. It's not always been that for me, but I feel like that is definitely true for me, and that I have been making strides in taking care of myself better over the last year or two. So that one was definitely like, oh yeah, that's definitely me. A few years ago, I might not have been able to recognize that as a problem, but now I can. The only thing I'm not or still not sure about is I have an eye for conflict. The wording of that seems interesting. An eye for conflict. I don't know if that means I can see conflict or if it means that I have this talent to overcome conflict. I'm just not sure what that means. An eye for conflict.
So I am actually a level lyric as well. So yes, I can tell you a lot about this.
Okay.
First of all, just a minute about the quiz itself. It is really it's a communication style, and it's meant to help you first understand yourself and then to help you meet others where they're at, right? Mm-hmm. Because communicating, just like what you're doing with your students and being able to communicate, is such an important tool in how we meet others, how we make an impact in others' lives as well as in the world. And then just how, as you said, with self-care, keeping up with ourselves, recognizing that we don't get lost in that. And that eye for conflict really is around that being a collaborator, right? Like getting people together. So when you're one of the peacekeepers, if you will, the peacemakers, you're able to see both sides and to be able to say, hey, what do we have in common versus, what do we have so much different? Right. And that's a really great skill, I think, for you to have. And so I hope that helps a little bit with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that because I try to teach my students how to have that skill to not necessarily argue with others, but to debate in a process where they're looking for the common link between both sides of an issue. And not necessarily to want to win, but to be better, to better understand the other side. So that's perfect. That maybe I now feel like I'm credible to teach that.
You absolutely are. You absolutely are. And Todd, did you want to share anything?
Okay. So I am, let's see, where's that? Here it is. I turned out to be a tenacious tailor. Checklists run your life. You like to place things on the list for the satisfaction of checking them off. Don't forget that people are affected by the tasks you prioritize, and they need open communication and updates throughout the project from you for you to achieve success together. And so much anymore checklists. I used to have checklists. Now they're just in my head, but sometimes
that's dangerous, Todd.
It is very dangerous. It is very dangerous, but for the rest of and the most part, I have employees, and I really try not to micromanage them. I try to be there for them when they get themselves stuck or don't know quite what to do, and I always allow them to solve the problem, yet consult in me about what they're thinking. Does that make sense? I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was really telling what you said, Todd, that I used to have checklists, but now I just have them in my head, right? So I don't put them down on paper, but they're still in my head, right? I still have them. Right. And so I think over time, we really learn how to use those to our advantage, right? As you just said, with the employees that you work with and allowing them to have that autonomy, but yet to be able to come to you with questions and concerns. And so sometimes maybe even providing checklists for them that might be a tool for them to use, right? Especially if they're new, if it's an onboarding process, things like that.
Oh, there's an entire process, trust me.
See, yes, very process driven. So that's a great skill to have when doing that. And so really it's all about, as you said, it's understanding what people need in their life and what they need to in communication style and what they need to succeed. It's helping others be a success, right? So when you understand that about yourself, then you understand here's the strengths that I can share with others, as well as you understand that I got to maybe watch that those things don't get in my way, that I don't give up too much of what I self-care, get too involved in that because then I can, become overwhelmed, overloaded, or I don't become too attached to my checklist and forget the person kind of thing. So we use it for both of those, but it identifies those strengths that you then bring to the team, right? And that's how I like to use it. I use it with my coaching clients as well as in a team setting. So it can be used in different ways. In a team, you typically want to have several different styles because those are what brings it best to the team. You want to have a well-rounded team with a lot of those. If you have everybody on the team that's, a level lyric, you have everybody on the team that's tenacious Taylor, you don't get those other viewpoints. You're going to have a whole bunch of checklists and you're not going to have, or you're going to have everybody, we can all agree on this. We don't know, we got right. So it's good to have those different approaches to that. But when you're coaching somebody, it's really good to understand then right off the bat, as a level lyric and this person we're both level lyrics, so we know that we can find that in common right there. But as a tenacious Taylor, I might understand, especially if it's a person new to that they might want at the end of our coaching session to have a checklist to take with them, right? They might want to, so just understanding how they best communicate and helping them to get to their goal and success quicker and more efficiently and effectively.
Todd, is that how your day stays groovy? Because you get to have these micro celebrations every time you check something off your to-do list?
Well, I was just thinking about it as there's a thing called overwhelm, right? Where you have too many tasks. Mm-hmm. And with prioritizing, you realize that the ones that are important get done. And the ones that you think that are important that you didn't get to, it really didn't matter anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what did it ring true for you then?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can see myself totally.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome.
Great.
I'm a tenacious Taylor. I've never been described that way before, but it's kind of cool.
Well,
I can own it. That's for sure.
Tenacious is good. That's a good skill.
Yeah.
So
I have a little workbook I can send you guys too if you're interested in it that follows up with the person that you came out to be. So,
cool.
You say there's 9 different ones? Is that what you said?
There's 9 total. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think in the pre-show you said that it evolves from the DISC program too, or
it does. Yep, it's based on DISC, D-I-S-C. So, and it's expanded from that, of course, because there's 4 DISC, but then there's 9 of these. So it sort of expands on that. But yeah, it's based on that. I'm also a certified DISC provider. So I had a lot of work around that and bringing teams together around that as well. So
I have a visitor.
Yeah.
I see that. I love it. Yeah,
That's Bandit.
Joined us
Bandit.
Today.
He usually shows up to be in the show. He ends up in that chair right behind me, but he's checking things out today.
What's his name?
Bandit.
Bandit
is his name.
Is he Siamese or part Siamese?
He's more of a ragdoll Siamese.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's interesting. He was born in a doghouse because his mom was a stray, and now he just loves dogs. I mean, the cat I had before him hated dogs, but this cat just and he loves to sleep in the dog's bed because of that smell. That's where he was born. It is so comical. I have 2 dogs, 2 cats, and 4 chickens. So I have.
How do they feel about him sleeping in their bed?
Yeah, they don't necessarily agree with it, but they all usually end up. It's so funny. The 3 of them, the 2 dogs and that cat particularly, will end up down at the lake. And it's like, I can remember the story about 2 dogs and a cat that travel across country, right? And the dogs watch out for the cat. I can't remember the story, but it was
something about home.
It's a movie. Going home or
finding home.
Finding your way home or something like that.
So I watched these 2 dogs and my cat down on the beach, and they're exploring together and walking around together and looking at things and then playing. And I just think, wow, what a team.
Yeah, cute.
Isn't that a great analogy, what it says, though? I mean, when we think about it, so my cat loves the dog house or the smell of the dog's beds because they were born there.
Yeah.
What does that say about us, right? And what a great analogy to maybe some of our limiting beliefs or some of the things that we enjoy.
Things that that's a good point, Susan, because we have this pre-programming, right? And we've agreed to things that we don't necessarily have a thought or know when we agreed to them. We just agreed to them, and they might not sit well with our core beliefs, but yet it's still an agreement we agree with. And a life coach is somebody that would help bring those to the light, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Help you discover those. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what advantages then do you think you have because of your background in healthcare toward helping this holistic person or the whole person to figure all this out? And that's one part of my question. The other part is are there patterns? Do you find that there are more common issues than you see in other people? I mean, is there one common thing that most people have struggles with?
Those are two very good questions. So, so the first one again was
how does your background support your
right? So, I think being a background and I've never been hands-on healthcare. I'll say that. I always say I never do blood and body fluids. always in an administrator role. I highly respect people that do. I just can't do that. But I think evidence-based is really important to me, so that it's really backed by the science of what works, right? What's been shown to work, how our brains work. I mean, there's so much there, as one of you had said, that there's so much of our brain that we don't even know about or use, really, right? Technically, that there's so much there. And so tapping into that is just huge. And yes, there are patterns that we as individuals, we as a society, we as a culture that are embedded in that, if you will. But yes, they can be changed. Is it hard work? It absolutely is. And that's, I think sometimes people think that coaching is sort of that foo-foo thing. And I always tell my clients, when they come to me early on, this is hard work. And anybody that has been a client of mine that you talk to, they will tell you it is hard work. So if you're just wanting, or if you're being forced to come, I don't take people that are, quote, forced to go to coaching or forced to do it, by somebody. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for them. So it's something you have to want to do. You have to want to discover something more. You have to want to move forward, or, you want to do something different. And you want to discover that. And so believing, first of all, that you can, and then moving towards that.
And having somebody that believes in you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the coach totally believes in you.
Right. And I don't have a predetermined outcome that I already want for you, right? So that's why it's so important, I think, that, yes, you might have a coach or somebody that does some of that for you in your personal life.
Like a fitness trainer.
Right. Or even like a family member, right?
Right.
But your family member is going to have a predetermined idea of what they want for you, right? I know for my child or for my spouse, this would be so good for them. If they could just, I already know that this would work. But a coach doesn't already have that predetermined idea for you, right? They are helping you discover what's going to work for you. And they're only focused on you and not the whole rest of what I want or all of those things, right? So that, I think, is very important about what a coach does and how they help the individual. And then, so the second part of that, Jackie, was...
Well, what do you commonly see? Are there similar issues that people are coming to you for? With we're going into a recession and we've come out of a pandemic, and there's a lot of changes that have been forced upon us lately. So I'm just wondering if there are some common problems or situations that people are coming to you for, and if you're seeing any of that changing or getting better or anything like that.
I would say, regardless of when or what, that a lot of reasons that people come or things that hold you back are based on fear. That manifests itself in a lot of ways, right? It might be anxiety. It might be fear of failure or fear of success, or it might be
Change. There's fear of change.
Fear of change.
Huge.
And it shows up as procrastination. It shows up as, all kinds of different things, that ways that it's sort of subtle in our lives. And so I think when you say that, there's a lot of underlying things like fear, but it manifests itself in a lot of different ways, depending on the individual.
Right. So what does it look like then to work with you? Can you give us an idea of what that might look like? Is it something that is a conversation that happens with you every week, or is it once a month, or is it online? What does that look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it can be both virtual and in person. I have a couple of signature programs. We will do one-on-one coaching for a period of 6 sessions, and then people get to decide, do I want to do a signature abundance amplified, which is more of the personal growth, or do I want to do the signature leadership, which is really the leadership coaching, really for people that it can be for small entrepreneurs, either solopreneurs, mid-level entrepreneurs, or it can be for leaders in an organization. Maybe you're new to leadership, or you're wanting to get into leadership, or you're in a space that you've been a leader for a while and you know there's something more, right? You just know there's something more out there that you want to go to, or you're been a leader like myself for a while, and you want to, what's your legacy? What is it you want to be known for? And that kind of works all the way along as well. And so the two programs, the two signature programs involve both one-to-one coaching with me, as well as with some group coaching, small group coaching. I never have more than 8 to 12 max in a group, but I feel we learn just as much from each other as we do from ourselves, right?
Totally.
And really the thing about that is you also find that, we always think that we are each unique and individual, but we all have a lot of the same things going on and a lot of the same issues. And to realize that I'm not alone in that can be really life-changing for people too.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, you have a couple of summits coming up. We talked a little bit about them, but I'm really curious about the Abundance Summit. What did you call it?
The summit coming up is the Holistic Institute of Wellness. And so the Holistic Institute of Wellness, that's spelled WHOL, so the whole person, the whole being, is a group that I founded actually a year ago in August. And so it's the annual celebration, or first annual celebration coming up this year in August. It is a free Facebook group, so please go out there and join that if you'd like. And it's all about, as it says, holistic. It's all about being well in all areas, whether it's finance, whether it's, we have people with Reiki, we have people with, different coaching styles. We have all kinds of different things that come together to be holistic, skincare, eating, all of those things that come together. And so as part of that group, there's also a membership group, and we do a summit once a quarter. Typically, I had people from the membership group that were speakers in that. And Jackie and I just happened to touch base and meet each other. And I loved what she was doing with her Speak, Feed, Lead.
No surprise at all that you two were attracted. Some kind of melding was to occur there.
Yeah, it was destined to be, wasn't it? Yeah, it was absolutely. I always feel like, and I fully believe we all are, whatever happens for a reason. So I feel we were brought together for a reason. And this being part of that. So this annual summit is really a little bit of a shift in that, and that we're looking at our legacy. What is going to be the legacy for the Holistic Institute of Wellness? And part of that legacy is with the adolescents that Jackie works with, the students that she works with, and we are having them be speakers. So the speakers won't pay anything this time. The people who attend will not have, they can attend entirely for free if they want, but if they make a donation, and they can make a donation when they sign up on Eventbrite, but again, they can sign up for free, or they can make that donation, and all of those donations will go entirely towards Jackie's program that she works with juvenile detention and the underprivileged.
We're going to have to plug that even more.
So I'm excited to be able to support that.
That Eventbrite link will be in our newsletter, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been in our newsletter and will be in our blog after the show, so everybody can take a look at that. And Susan, I am in awe that you're having this holistic and wellness type summit. And a lot of my students, when they first heard that, they're like, well, let's see. You know what? I have something I can say about wellness. I've learned some things. And so what you're doing, even by just simply inviting these adolescents, these teens or young people to do it, they're getting to see, hey, you know what? I've learned some things about how to take care of myself. I've learned some things to help me get through this pandemic situation. And I think I can share that with other people. And so just these little simple opportunities that people like you are providing to them really help to open their minds to realize they are not limited either. Just because they're 10 years old or because they're 14 years old or whatever, they have no limitations. Society puts those on them, but really they don't. They can be whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. And the most beautiful thing is that they're discovering that they have this innate value of just being who they are and the experiences they've had. And now there's opportunity for them to talk about that. Yeah. So different from the opportunities they have at school where they're given an assignment, research this, then you got to give a report on it. That doesn't teach them anything. Just teach them how to get a good grade on something, but it really doesn't give them life skills. And so people like you who are giving them opportunities to really share their messages, I'm so grateful for that because we're really opening the doors to and the minds of our youth. Absolutely. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. Because isn't that what we're all here for, right? Is how do we pay it forward, so to speak, or how do we open the doors for those that you mentioned the pandemic. I mean, I think one of the biggest groups, if you want to group them together, and I hate to do that, but is adolescents and how they were impacted by that, right? Their whole entire lives. And we're seeing that in a lot of mental health ways, but a lot of other ways. And so for them to take this and put a positive spin on it, that's just huge and amazing.
It is
to do that.
That's wonderful. And in fact, one of my students, she's not speaking on this particular summit, but she's spoken on a few summits back. Her message is about Taekwondo and how much that has really empowered her in so many ways. And I know you are like a champion at Taekwondo. Am I right?
Well, I don't know if I'm a champion at it, but I did take Taekwondo as an adult in my a few years ago. And so I love that. And I like to use an analogy about that because as an adult and doing, when you're in sparring, when you'd be in competition, right? They always divide you first by gender and then by age and then by size. And so always with the females, of course, but then I was an older age group and I'm a smaller sized woman. And so I always was usually sparring somebody larger and younger than me. And I said to my sensei, I'm like, I don't think I can do this. And he's like, yeah, this is your strength. You just need to understand that you're a counterattacker, right? You never go in there with your quote, fists blazing, if you will, or your hands, ready to go. You don't go in there. You're a counterattacker. You have to wait for them to come to you. You have to wait for them to throw. Anytime that somebody throws a punch or a kick, they have to open themselves up to do that.
Right.
And you just have to be ready.
Right.
So it was just a great reminder to me, and that what I saw as a liability, he saw as a strength. Right. And so how, as a coach, can you help people to see what they consider to be their weakness? That can really be a strength for them, right? And so just shifting that mindset about that, for me, that was huge. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love
Jackie
that.
and I have a really close friend that is and you would have never imagined that she is so, and I don't know if it's Taekwondo or karate. I think it's karate. Isn't it Sandy Marshall karate? Something like that.
It might be Taekwondo, but I'm not.
Taekwondo. And
I think
you would never even begin to imagine and that she would be involved in that. And once you learn, it's like, really? Wow. And she's very good at it. I mean, it's not somebody that you would
70s, I think, or close to at this point, and she's been doing it for a long time.
It's amazing. Oh my goodness, ladies, we only have about 4 minutes left. Susan, did you have a blast today?
Oh, you guys are wonderful. It's been so much fun. I appreciate getting to meet you, Todd. This is the first time today I've met you. So yes, it's been just a blast. And so thank you so much for inviting me. And
thank you so much for showing up as you. Do you have a last parting shot or a last message for our guests that you would like to share?
Well, I would just like to invite you all to, first of all, visit my website. I will say it's kind of under construction at the moment. Try out the quiz, reach out to me through either Facebook or Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn as well. Watch for some upcoming things that I have coming both in person for speaking, as well as my signature groups, which will start again in October between the 1st and the 7th. I always start them between the 1st and the 5th usually, but I think the 1st is on a Saturday or Sunday or something in October. So yeah.
And Facebook groups. You have some very active Facebook groups that people can learn and enjoy and grab some tools. So
absolutely.
Thank you again, Susan, for showing up as you. Jackie, any takeaways? Look at that big smile on your face.
You know what? I'm so grateful for people like Susan because they, there's a lot of people in a world of hurt, and there's a lot of people who don't understand their own power. And what she said a few minutes ago is that we can either see ourselves as a liability and go on through life thinking we can't do this because of this or that or whatever. And someone like her can take a look at the same situation and go, no, that is your absolute strength.
You're an asset, right? We'll bring in some accounting terms.
Absolutely. And, if you can coach people to make that shift and see themselves differently, there is no greater gift to give to the world. So, Susan, I appreciate your gift so much, and I appreciate the opportunity that you're allowing our youth to see their gifts and to be able to contribute those to the world and on a stage and what seems like a small way, generally speaking, but to them is a huge impact it's going to have on their life. So I appreciate it very much, and I'm excited about that summit. And I hope all of you watching or listening today will attend the summit so that you can see Susan's magic, but also at the same time support the youth that are going to be speaking there as well.
Yes, support Jackie's programs. Yes, absolutely.
Wow, there's a word that didn't come up the whole show until the very end. That's the magic, right, Susan? Because that's what life is. It is very magical, especially when you're tuned in and feeling groovy. That's about all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please tell a friend about it. Sign up for the newsletter. And lastly, please, please, please make it a great day, because it is all about choice. Bye-bye for now.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to Life Mastery Radio. Join Todd Allen and Jackie Bailey and their guests of leading authors, speakers, coaches, and entrepreneurs weekly at 10 a.m. Pacific. Learn to live a peaceful life with intentional mastery through stories and messages to support your well-being and most evocative dreams. Visit their website, www.lifemasteryradio.com. Join their mailing list and be notified about upcoming guests. That's lifemasteryradio.com.